Why UMOJA, Minnesota? Simply put, people and children need safe places to flourish. UMOJA, Minnesota is that place. Who's ready to share what they came up with?
I'm ready to share what I came up with.
All right, do me a favor if you would, please. Say your name one more time.
My name is Deanna.
Deanna.
Yes.
Okay. It's a pleasure to meet you, Deanna.
Nice to meet you.
Steve, just in case.
Nice to meet you, Steve.
All right, Deanna.
All right.
Please share.
Okay, so my question, my answer to that is, UMOJA helps families cope with diversity, and it helps with tools and helping kids define their ethnic backgrounds, and it also meets the needs of that child development over years to come.
So help families cope with, and just wanna make sure, I reteach, I wanna make sure I got it correct. Help families cope with diversity,
Mhm.
and then there was a background one.
Yeah, and help with tools and helping kids define their ethnic background and to meet the needs of that child development, you know, and skills over years to come to help them grow.
Okay.
Did that sound okay, you guys?
Sounds great.
All of these leaders in here, I'm
No,
just
it's
applaud.
including you, including you. You're
Well,
in that
thank
group.
you, thank you.
Come on now. Spot on. So look at what we captured. Do you feel like we captured all your thoughts, or are we missing anything?
Absolutely,
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
All right, because it's
I'm sure.
valuable.
Hey,
We need all our
that's,
leaders' thoughts.
that's the key of these kids tomorrow and growing, that's my main phrase. I mean, they're our tomorrow, and this is what's needed to help them grow.
There it is. Here's one of those seeds.
Mhm.
That fertilizer. All right, who'd like to go next?
I'll go next.
All right, can you say your name too, please?
Rosalind.
Rosalind? Did I say it correctly?
Yeah.
All right, Rosalind.
It gives transracial adoptive families resources for inclusivity that can be used towards their daily lives.
Okay. Gives transracial, adoptive family, inclusivity. Say that last part?
Inclusivity?
No, say the last part.
Oh, towards their daily life.
Towards their daily life. Go ahead, shoot. That is a snack. Y'all doing it here. You talking about we leaders. Y'all the ones. Our title is facilitator. Y'all the leaders.
Honestly, no, we didn't have this as a part of the training yesterday, but this is something that people do ask. They ask the management team, well, what is that? That's a program?
Right.
People have really said, is that a real program? And it's like, why do you need it? And so, for me, this was like, well, let me amplify all the voices and all the reasons why we need it, because there's so many reasons why we need it. And so I thank you all for this contribution, but this is useful and we're gonna use it.
And I love all the different personalities and the different education in this room. I mean, serious, it's just like a birthday for me today, just to be around you guys. No, I'm serious, because I love meeting people and, you know, different personalities and the educational, what are you doing? And especially like, if you're younger than me, I'm pretty sure a lot of you are, it's like, way to go, keep reaching goals. That's a plus.
I call that eat.
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
All right.
I love the daily lives, please. Did I capture accurately?
Daily lives and day-to-day interactions, things that help them grow and form who they're gonna be.
That's right.
Flowing on yours, I have to add.
That's right.
I love it. Yeah, I'm just combining both of those. That's what those both are saying, you know. Who'd like to go next?
I go next.
All right.
So mine is more of a phrase, not necessarily your sentence. So if you don't tell yourself who you are by breakfast, they will tell you who you are by dinner.
Ooh.
All right.
Ooh.
Self-determined.
Can you speak on unpack that for us?
So,
Well, I had to write that
You
down.
gonna say it in the classroom too, we need you.
That's
sorry,
awesome.
motivational speaking just come out
All
sometimes.
right?
Yes.
If
What
you-
did you say? What'd you say?
If you don't tell yourself who you are by breakfast, they will tell you who you are by dinner. So actually, it's going back to your point of just like self-determination. You gotta be able to define yourself and really know who you are, because there's so many things in the world once you step outside the house that are trying to tell you who you are. Not necessarily trying to tell you, but you would just pick up on it. So school, TV, all these things, and so you gotta really like know, like, you know, I'm this, and this is what I do, and these are my values, and so if you don't do that, the world will quickly.
That's what's
So
up.
that's just a fun little cool way to say it to make it sound good.
Because you can't
Right.
escape that, you know, with some of all our experiences. So
Right.
you can't escape that. it's gonna inform and influence who we're gonna be. So you gotta take a huge stake in who you're gonna be, yeah, that's I like that.
I mean, you came with a rendition of Carter G. Woodson, Miseducation of the
Oh,
Negro.
yeah. If you could,
You
yeah,
don't- yeah, if you don't,
If
what is it? You
if
make a man feel he's inferior, he'll accept it, and you don't have to tell him to go to the back door, he'll go himself.
If you can control a man, if you
Control a man's
yeah, if
thinking.
you control a man thinking, then you control his actions.
Yes. So this is like, come on, history makers with the new remix, but it's really, it's a really integral to our program and to our youth program in particular. Thank you.
Wow. That's a,
I love
Yeah.
Carter G.
Told you.
I love Carter G. Woodson.
Carter G.
I'm here,
All the
I'm
leaders up
here.
in here.
I love Carter G.
Yes.
Yes.
I guess I can go next. So I said we don't have to know exactly how someone's life is to try and understand and support them. These families that show up and want to do the work are cognizant of their places in society, and are doing what they can to not perpetuate stereotypes. And it's proof that human beings are capable of change or trying to change.
Drop
But
the mic, drop the mic, we can go home now, y'all.
Go Gusty.
That's the whole summary.
Go Gusty.
So we need to show up and support those willing to do
the work, yeah.
willing to do the work.
So it's next time this week, I better roll with Gusty. It don't happen often.
They are all over the Twin Cities.
Yeah, they are.
I think I could fit it. It depends on what you're gonna say, but I'll get another sheet if you need it.
I don't think it's too long. I just think that from what I got of it so far is, I didn't really write anything down, just been thinking, but it's more of, I guess if you use the analogy of a root, obviously to be rooted in, but I mean, I think, or an anchor, because obviously there's a lot of things going on in the world that, you know, could throw you this way, throw you that way, but if you're like, you know, you're anchored and you know, obviously who you are, and even if your family members know who you are and you know who they are, then you guys are able to, you know, navigate things a lot better. But if you're just, you know, just gonna be whisked away, then you're gonna be where the world's gonna put you at. So,
Anchoring of identity.
yeah. I mean, although we're like probably, you know, some people are more extrovert or introverted, some people are this or that, whatnot. Everybody, in most cases, would have a kind of an anchor, kind of a root to grow from, and then maybe, obviously, then maybe the branches go this way, they go that way, but you know, they all come from this central identity. So, in a sense, yeah.
And identity is particularly important for African American youth, right?
Yes.
Because we know that the narrative is not always telling you about Paul Robeson and about Ella Fitzgerald or all of our greats, but they might be telling you about Kodak, and they might be telling you about Trinidad. And so we are very cognizant that this is a huge part of our program value for youth, and we're urgent about it.
Can I say something quick? I recently I do Facebook Live a lot on Facebook. It's just what I do. But I recently did one, maybe not recent, about a year ago. And one of my family members asked me like, why do you like? So I had on a Black Excellence shirt. From
North.
Houston White.
Houston.
And so this person was on my Facebook Live asking me like, why do we need to say Black excellence? Like, what would happen if we said white excellence or Asian excellence and all this? And I think this is the same way. Like, you may get that kind of like rebuttal, and my argument, because I had to come over one real fast. Because I was on Facebook Live doing this, I had to respond, and I was like, it was to your point, right? Like if it was even, then maybe it would be good. But like, there's so much negativity that you have to have all these positive things to just negate the one negative. And so like, I think like, cause a lot of people feel that way. Like, why you gotta have these cultural specific things for Black folks? And it's like, cause there's 10 negatives, we gotta have 100 positives just to counter it.
Right.
So.
Absolutely. Well, and they've done studies on this.
Yeah.
Kids are able to recognize brands, kids are able to recognize musical artists and popular culture at rates that we would be amazed at just from our generation by the age of 3. So if they're existing within a societal context that is built upon the dominance of someone who doesn't look like you, speak like you, talk like you, or do anything to do with your identity, then what does that do for their risk and potential for internalizing oppression? And so when we think about identity, that is why we have Black heritage in the description of our program.
And you know, I just wanna, add, because, you know, I feel that, you know, peer pressure coming from kids, you know, and other kids to kids, you know, at a very young age is very important, you know, how the family, like, you're at home, you're growing up, and it's very important how your parents or whoever your guardians are, you know, teach you about peer pressure and how to handle it. And it reflects on what you're talking about, because it's how you take things when you go outside that door, how you take peer pressure. You know, you're either gonna succeed in it, or it's gonna be at level, or you're gonna fail, and it's not gonna be good. So that's why, how I sum it up, like, we are there tomorrow. I mean, even when we do this program, you know, next month, I mean, just us being in those classrooms, I mean, you know, we have to think about all that, you know, I mean, peer pressure, number one thing, because, you know, they're gonna be introduced with other kids, and other kids gonna, you know, have their behaviors going or whatever, but you have to know how to set the stage, how to redirect, you know, that energy in a room for that child, because they're watching you, and when they leave from the event, they're gonna take something home, like whatever you did, or your body language, what you said, they always take something back, and it really reflects them, so that's why we have to be like excellent, and, I mean, the whole package, how's that? Cause I can keep
The
going.
urgency for excellence, no, it's really important,
Mhm.
because there's a lot to think about at UMOJA, and one thing in particular that our educational team should think about is this is the one presence in Minnesota where 75% of the educators in that program are gonna look like the kids are serving. That's representation that does not exist in a lot of the educational spaces in Minnesota. So this might be the one time that they see you as their authority figure and as their educator, and we want to give them an ethos of excellence, so that when they see themselves in you, they say, oh, I wanna be like that. And just know that they're seeing themselves in a lot of images that look like them and saying, oh, I wanna be with that. And we really wanna make sure that that's pro-social, that that's making sure that they're gonna reach their full potentials, because it's a jungle.